Picture a beach stretching for miles, lined with 2,000 crucified men left rotting under the blazing sun. Their screams fade into silence as ships sail past, close enough to see the flies swarming, close enough to smell death. In another city, 700,000 people are hunted down street by street, building by building. Mothers clutch children as Roman soldiers kick down doors. Blood flows so thick through the streets that horses slip on it. These aren't horror movies. This is history, raw, brutal, and real. Throughout history, war has never been just about soldiers clashing on battlefields. It's been about terror, domination, and sending messages that echo through centuries. The ancient world witnessed acts of violence so extreme that they'd be prosecuted as war crimes today. But back then, they were tools of conquest, proudly documented by the very rulers who committed them. What you are about to hear is disturbing. These are stories of total destruction, unimaginable torture, and calculated brutality. From the Mediterranean to the steppes of Asia, we'll explore moments when power met absolute ruthlessness. Fair warning, these events are shocking. But they're also essential history that reveals both humanity's darkest capabilities and how far we've come. Let's begin. The Mediterranean sun beats down on thousands of workers hauling massive stones into the sea. Arrows rain from the island fortress of Tyre, piercing flesh and wood. Bodies float in the water, but the work doesn't stop. For 7 months, this nightmare continues. Alexander the Great is building the impossible, a land bridge to an unconquerable island. It's 332 BCE, and Alexander is carving through the Persian Empire like a knife through silk. City after city opens its gates to him. But Tyre, the queen of the seas, refuses. This wealthy Phoenician city sits half a mile offshore, protected by 150-foot walls and the strongest navy in the Mediterranean. When Alexander requests entry to sacrifice at their temple, the Tyrian leaders laugh. They've resisted the mighty Babylonian king Nebuchadnezzar for 13 years. What can this young Macedonian do? They're about to find out. Unable to attack by sea, Alexander orders construction of a causeway. His engineers dump stones, timber, and rubble into the water day and night. The Tyrians fight back desperately. They send fire ships to burn the siege equipment. Their archers shoot anyone who comes within range. They launch naval raids against the construction crews. But Alexander presses forward with terrifying determination. When the causeway finally reaches Tyre's walls in July, the slaughter begins. Alexander's siege engines pound the fortifications. His soldiers, enraged after 7 months of brutal work, storm through the breaches. The Tyrians defend every street, every building, fighting with the desperation of people who know what defeat means. Ancient accounts describe combat so fierce that blood literally runs through the streets like rainwater. The fall of Tyre unleashes horror. Approximately 6,000 to 8,000 Tyrian men are butchered in the fighting. But Alexander isn't finished. He orders 2,000 military-aged survivors crucified along the beach. Imagine that scene, 2,000 crosses stretching along the shoreline, visible from land and sea, bodies hanging under the scorching sun for days. Crucifixion is slow death. The condemned suffocate gradually as their chest muscles fatigue, fighting for each breath, sometimes lasting for days before finally dying. This isn't execution, it's theater. Historian Quintus Curtius Rufus notes these mass crucifixions are calculated psychological warfare. Ships passing by can see them. Travelers approaching from the mainland can see them. The message is unmistakable. This is what happens when you resist Alexander the Great. News spreads rapidly throughout the ancient world. Many cities choose immediate surrender over resistance. The remaining 30,000 Tyrians, mostly women, children, and elderly, are sold into slavery. Families are torn apart, shipped to different corners of the Mediterranean. Parents watch their children dragged away, knowing they'll never see them again. The proud queen of the seas is reduced to a ghost town. That causeway Alexander built, it never goes away. Over centuries, sand and sediment accumulate around it. Today, Tyre is no longer an island, but a peninsula. Even geography bears witness to Alexander's ruthless determination. But if Alexander's brutality shocked the ancient world, Rome would take it even further, proving that entire civilizations could be erased from existence. Carthago delenda est. Carthage must be destroyed. The Roman senator Cato the Elder ends every speech with these 3 words, no matter the topic. Agriculture? Carthage must be destroyed. Taxes? Carthage must be destroyed. His obsession becomes Rome's mission. For over a century, Rome and Carthage have been locked in devastating wars for Mediterranean dominance. The Second Punic War nearly destroyed Rome when Carthaginian general Hannibal crossed the Alps with elephants and ravaged Italy for 15 years. Rome survived. Barely. The psychological scars run deep. By 146 BCE, Carthage poses no real military threat. It's been stripped of its colonies, navy, and wealth through imposed treaties. But Rome demands the impossible: abandon your city and relocate 10 miles inland, away from the coast. For a maritime trading civilization, this is a death sentence. The Carthaginians, approximately 700,000 strong, choose to fight. For 3 years they hold out, turning temples into weapons factories, melting statues to forge swords, women donating their hair for bowstrings. But when Roman general Scipio Aemilianus finally breaks through in 146 BCE, hell descends on Carthage. Greek historian Polybius stands beside Scipio, watching the assault unfold. He writes of street-by-street fighting lasting 6 days and nights. Roman soldiers capture a building, then face counterattacks from surrounding structures. Carthaginians fight from rooftops, from windows, from behind barricades. When Romans take lower floors, defenders retreat upward and continue fighting. The streets become so choked with corpses that soldiers can't move through them. Rather than remove the bodies, Roman troops march over them. Horsemen ride through streets, trampling people still alive, writhing among the dead. Of 700,000 inhabitants, only 50,000 survive, and their fate is arguably worse than death. They're enslaved and dispersed throughout the Roman Empire, torn from everything they know. Families are separated at auction blocks. A mother sold to a farmer in Gaul never sees her children again, sold to a merchant in Sicily. The Carthaginian people effectively cease to exist as a distinct group. Scipio orders the city itself destroyed. For 17 days, Roman soldiers systematically demolish every building. They burn structures until only ashes remain, then tear down the walls stone by stone. They want to ensure Carthage can never rise again, that not even its ruins will inspire future rebellion. Polybius witnesses Scipio standing amid the burning ruins, weeping. When asked why he cries at his moment of triumph, Scipio recites lines from Homer about Troy's fall, then adds, "I fear someday someone will say the same of my country." The destruction is so complete that later generations doubt whether Carthage was as great as legends claim, a thriving metropolis of 700,000 reduced to ash and memory. The message is clear. Rome doesn't just defeat enemies, it erases them. Yet even Rome's systematic annihilation pales beside the Assyrian Empire, where cruelty wasn't just a weapon, it was an art form proudly displayed for all to see. The city gates swing open to reveal a nightmare. Human skins hang from the walls like banners, preserved and displayed. Some are draped over pillars, others are stuffed to create grotesque scarecrow figures. The smell of decay mixes with the screams of men impaled on stakes, lining the road still alive, still suffering, positioned carefully so death comes slowly over days. Welcome to the Assyrian Empire, 9th century BCE. From the Persian Gulf to the Mediterranean, the Assyrians control vast territories through calculated terror. What makes them uniquely chilling isn't just what they do, it's how they document it. Assyrian kings proudly record their brutality on palace walls, in detailed inscriptions, in carved reliefs depicting victims' suffering. They want everyone to know exactly what they're capable of. King Ashurnasirpal II's palace at Nimrud features inscriptions boasting of his deeds. "I flayed all the chief men who had revolted, and I covered the pillar with their skins. Some I impaled upon the pillar on stakes, and others I bound to stakes round about the pillar. I cut off the limbs of the officers who had rebelled. Many captives I burned with fire. From some I cut off their noses, their ears, and their fingers. From others I put out their eyes." This isn't propaganda exaggeration. Archaeological evidence confirms it. Palace reliefs show captives being flayed alive, impaled, dismembered. These images aren't hidden away in secret chambers. They're displayed prominently in public spaces where foreign dignitaries and potential rebels will see them. The message is unmistakable. Resist us and suffer unimaginably.